Hi guys! In today's video, I'm going to show you how to sew a couple of fall outfits for your rainbow high doll. Fall is my second favorite season, so I'm very excited for all of the colorful leaves out there soon. So that's why today I'm going to be using this fabric that I got from the local thrift store to create a dress and top plus skirt combo for the doll. And I have Georgia Bloom here. She's going to model for us. You might have seen her already in one of my short tutorials on how to create this headband. I am ready to add a couple of custom outfits to her wardrobe. So let's get right to it.
And we're going to start by making some patterns. This one, I'm just going to trace the top that I already have for Georgia and create my own based on that pattern. I am also going to use Georgia's skirt to create a pattern of a longer skirt that I have in mind. For that, I need to trace this one as well. Here I measure the desired skirt length and then I make my pattern the same length. Next step, cutting out my patterns, top and skirt, and making sure they're symmetrical. I'm using non-stretchy fabric, so I will need to mark darts. Next step, creating a dress pattern. I'm measuring how long the top part is and cutting out a rectangle about 3.5 inches long. Top of the dress ends up being about 3.5 inches by 1.5. Top of the dress will also need darts. And I cut them out because it's easier to transfer onto the fabric. I want the skirt of the dress to be about 2.5 inches long when it's finished. I start marking right on the fabric because there's no point in making a paper pattern. It's just a very long rectangle. So the rectangle is going to be about 3.5 inches by 18 inches. Those measurements include seam allowance. Now I'm tracing all of the patterns I've created, and don't forget about the seam allowance again. So with the skirt pattern, we trace one full pattern for the front, and then we fold it in half and trace each half separately with seam allowance for the back part. Here's all the cutout parts for top, skirt, and dress. As I start sewing, I sew the darts first by hand. Once they're done, I try them on to see what it looks like. And since I started sewing by hand, I will do darts on the top of the dress as well. Then I'm trying it on to see if it looks good. Then I hem the top of the dress, only on the top part, and hem top and bottom part of the top. Now for the skirt. I lay it out like so. I sew the sides together, allowing room for the slit. Then I start hemming top, the sides of the slit, and the bottom of the skirt. I cut off excess fabric after I made my seams, and now I'm gonna try it on to see if it looks good. Next, I decided to work on the skirt of the dress, and I hemmed the bottom of the skirt. I made 2 seams at the top of the skirt so I can make a flare skirt out of it, and you can see the process right here. Here it is all done. Use less fabric if you don't want it to be as fluffy as mine. I put pieces of the dress face together and then attach them. Here you can see I hand stitch them together to see if it fits well, and then I make my seam and then I cut off excess fabric after I'm done. I decided to use Velcro for the back of my dress, and here you can see the process of me attaching the Velcro. I sew the back of the dress together, allowing for some room because I will need to put this on my doll. We also need to attach the Velcro to the top. Instead of struggling with sewing it on, I decided to try Fabri-Tac to glue it onto the top. And more Velcro, this time for the skirt. That's just because I used a non-stretchy fabric. After I attach the Velcro, I sew the back together. Cutting off excess fabric. Don't cut too close to the seam, please. And here it is. It still needs to be ironed, but it's ready. Now let's get to styling. First, I'm gonna give her hair a good wash as usual. My next step is to give her hair a slightly different shade, so it's good that it's already wet. I use some boiling water and Rit Dye in dark brown. We have a few tutorials on how to dye doll hair, so please watch. Once I'm happy with the color, I rinse her hair, put some conditioner on, and I brush it. And remember, once the hair dries, the color is going to be much lighter than what it is right now. While Georgia already is a gorgeous doll, I just decided to go all in, and I decided to give her new eye color. So I got her head very warm. You can see how squishy it is. I popped the eyes out and I put new eyes in. They are light green. I also have a tutorial on my channel on how to do that. Next, I decided to straighten her hair using a flattening iron. Well, you know us girls. If it's curly, you gotta straighten it. If it's straight, you need to curl it. Here's half of her head done, and it looks very nice and shiny. I give her her natural part, as you can see, and then I go on and I trim her ends and make sure all the ends that don't really look so good are cut off, styled, and just are looking nice otherwise. Here she is, looking very lovely, but there's something missing, and it's new eyelashes. I took out the old ones, so she needs replacement. Carefully glue them on with Fabri-Tac, and in my experience, they stay on very nicely. And after all of that, I decided I'm not yet satisfied, so I decided to make a beret for my doll. I loosely measured the circumference of her head and it was around 8 inches. And then I made a quite sloppy sketch of my future beret. Next, I cut it out, tried on, and this pattern will make 3 separate pieces for our beret. So diameter of this piece is 5 inches and the middle opening part is about 2¼ inches. As you can see, I'm tracing my pattern on this leather fabric that I have. I do leave a lot of room for mistakes because you can always cut it out more versus if you cut out a lot right away, you can't really sew it back on. Once you sew all the parts together, you turn it inside out and straighten it up and it's ready. Let me know if you need a separate tutorial on doll beret. And some finishing touches left. I use some hair gel on my doll so that her ends look neat and straight and the way that I like it. And here she is in her first look, the dress. How do you like it? And here's the second look, top and skirt. She's sitting down here so you can't really see that it's not a one piece. Here's a great view of her styled hair and beret from the back. I'm very happy how she turned out. It's very cute, fall colors, cute beret, just overall adorable. I hope you guys liked my video. I hope you can create some fall outfits for your dolls. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.